Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. In Hilchas Shchita, we find a very interesting din. The achbar says in Siman Yud Tes Siv Dalid, Tzarich lizar meludaber bein bracha l'shchita. The sheichet shechting has to be very careful not to speak. We find the same halacha by most of the mitzvahs, that when you make the bracha, you're not allowed to interrupt in between once you make the bracha and fulfilling the mitzvah. B'davar she'enei mitzarchei hashchita. If you're interrupting in saying something or doing something that's not part of the mitzvah, you shouldn't interrupt. V'im diber, if you did interrupt, tzarich levarich pa'am acheres. You have to make another bracha. So the Darkei Tshuva here in this seif, Ois Nun Gimel, brings a fascinating shaila. He says, Kasav b'simla chadasha seif ches. He says the simla chadasha brings the b'mekoymos sha'akum eina menichin liyisrael lishchait, in the places that the goyim do not allow the yidden to shecht unless the yidden say while they slaughter the words Allah achbar. And in Shulchan Aruch earlier it's mentioned that a yid should not say those words. It's mentioned earlier in Siman Dalid that a yid, while he shechts, it's the lashon of Shulchan Aruch is roi levatel zeh im efshel levatle. What if, especially now, would that be considered a hefsek in the bracha? So the Simla Chadasha says, yesh lehishtadol la'amrei koydem bracha. If this is the way the sale, the only way they'll take the parts of the animal that you give them, you have to try to say it before you make the bracha. V'im gam zeh efshar. And if they won't allow you to say it before you make the bracha, literally, it appears kivan da Yisrael mechaven b'milis elu shashchita hi l'shem hakadosh baruch hu. Since the yid who says these words in his mind, he knows that his intention is that the shchita he's doing is for the Eibishter. Shehu keil kabir, that the Eibishter is the strong Almighty. Shetzivanu lishchait loy have a hefsek. That's not considered a hefsek. Why? The medaber meinyane hashchita, because in reality, what he's saying that Hashem, it's Hashem, the Almighty God, He gave us the power and He's telling us to shecht. The efshe b'lav hachi, and I have no other choice. That's the only way he's able to shecht. Avol lo yoymar milos elu v'yishchet v'yivarech b'vas achas. He shouldn't say it all in one time. The be'inon habracha over l'asiyasam, because the halacha says that you have to make the bracha first and then shecht. He shouldn't do it simultaneous. So that's what the Simla Chadasha says. The Simla Chadasha says you should actually, if you have no other choice, you're allowed to say those words. Again, obviously, if you have no other choice, you're allowed to say the words Allah achbar, because that's the only way the meat will be sold. Because in the Yiddish mind, you're saying that Almighty God, it's in your because of you we're able to have the power to fulfill this mitzvah. Yet he brings that the Pri Chadash and the Pri Tayar and the Pas HaShulchan say that Masha Herich Bezeh, and they brought Brig Rayis, the Lechatchila Yesh Lachush, the Amiras Tevis Elu, Chashiv Hefsik Men Brachas L'Shchita, V'Mafsik Bezeh Toya, V'Ein Takana Lazeh. There's no, you have to be very careful never to say these things after the bracha. You're always allowed to say this only before, if anything, before the bracha.